because I just want to talk about Florida because I went there for tax reasons, so I can class my holiday as a business expense. Booyah! Florida is one of the most visited states in the USA by tourists. I myself was one of those tourists just last week. People travel to Florida for all kinds of reasons, from the theme parks to the wildlife and of course to the beach. Florida has a huge amount of beaches and coastline. In fact, it has the most coastline of the continuous United States. Alaska actually has more, but I don't think these beaches are as appealing to tourists as Florida's. Florida has so much coastline that certain parts of it have been given unique names to make them stand out when tourists decide where exactly they want to go and to give them their own unique identity. And some of these coasts' names range from fairly self-explanatory to fairly odd. The first coast we ought to start with is exactly that, the First Coast. This is the coast located in the northeast of the state, just along the Atlantic Ocean. Its biggest city is Jacksonville, and it's kind of because of Jacksonville as to why this coast got this name. The name ultimately derives from the fact that it was the first coast that Europeans colonized in the state. Of course, natives lived in the land way before them. Yet, by the mid-20th century when tourism was picking up in the state, the local governments there wanted people to visit other places than just Jacksonville in this area. So they promoted this name to advertise this coast as a whole within the state of Florida, as opposed to just Jacksonville. South of the First Coast, but still on the Atlantic side, we have the Space Coast. This coast has this name primarily for one reason: the Kennedy Space Center. This is the USA's most famous rocket launching place, rocket launching site. I don't know what to call it other than a space center, it's just where they make rockets go into the sky. Actually, I saw one when I was over there. Wild. I wasn't even in the Kennedy Space Center, I was in Disney Springs, so you could just see this light going up in the sky. Incredible. But anyway, mass tangent. Noticeably, this is where Apollo 11 lifted off from for the first trip to the moon. Since then, this coast has become deeply linked with space travel, so much so that the entire place is named after space. Not only is the coast named after space, but other places within it are too, such as Apollo Elementary School, Astronaut High School, and Satellite Beach. The best reference, however, has to be the telephone code for a county within the Space Coast. It has the code 321, as in 3, 2, 1, liftoff. I love that, that's so clever. You probably don't notice, but it actually took me a really long time to count to 3 just then. Like, there's many outtakes of that. They'll be at the end of this video, go watch them probably. Amber, remember to put those at the end of the video, thank you. This location wasn't chosen to be the launch site for rockets at random. A variety of factors went into choosing this part of Florida to be the USA's main launch pad. This includes factors like it being closer to the equator, the Earth's rotation from west to east, and of course the relative remoteness of the area. Well, when it was first established anyway. Now it's full of people because everyone wants to go see the Space Coast. Like Stinky Pete says in Toy Story 2.
2 words, Sputnik. Once the astronauts went up, children only wanted to play with space toys.
Oh, I love Kelsey Grammer. Oh, love Kelsey Grammer. Great guy. On the opposite side of Florida from the Space Coast, we have Pasco County, which in more recent years has decided to rebrand itself as the Sports Coast. This is a bit of an odd one. Florida does have many recognizable sports teams, including the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Miami Marlins, and the Orlando Magic. None of these, however, are based in the Sports Coast. This name wasn't chosen due to the famous sports teams in the land, but instead in ode to the countless sports and activities visitors to this coast can partake in. As mentioned, many of these coast names exist for marketing and tourism reasons. Each part of Florida craves to draw in tourists, and this area has decided to highlight its sporting pursuits, such as wakeboarding, cycling, fishing, and even skydiving, in the aim of attracting tourists. Before we continue, I want to say a huge thank you to my most recent patrons. Say thank to new patrons Jan Hubert, Luca Love, and Mega Drive Corporation. I wonder if in America you're called the Genesis Corporation, but anyway. Patreon is the best way to financially support Name Explain, and donating just $1 a month gets you ad-free videos, a chance to say what Names Explain, an exclusive monthly newsletter, and your name at the end of these videos. All of that can be found at patreon.com/NameExplain, which will be linked down below. Conversely, if you want to just make a one-time donation, you can leave a super thanks directly in the comments section of any of my videos here on YouTube. They help out tremendously too. Thank you. Before we get into our next weirdly named coast, I need to quickly highlight the Nature Coast. This is just north of the Sports Coast. The name is pretty self-explanatory. It's the coast that is abundant with nature, and I need to mention it here as I spent a large chunk of my time in Florida within the Nature Coast, swimming, walking and kayaking and seeing all kinds of wildlife. It's a wonderful place. Hello if you're watching from Crystal River, by the way. Man, I loved Crystal River. What a lovely little town, city. America calls everything a city. Even as a tiny town, they still call it a city. But yeah, Crystal River, lovely place. Go look at a manatee if you're there or something. They're probably there now. I was there just before peak season, but I still saw a couple. But yeah, loved it there. Thank you very much for having me. We're travelling north now to a couple coasts along Florida's panhandle, one of the most uniquely named ones being the Emerald Coast. At first, I thought this name may relate to emeralds that are found in the ground here, but that seemingly isn't the case. The name apparently instead relates to the waters of this coast. This coast lies in the Gulf of Mexico, and the waters here have a unique blue-green tint to them. This colour was seen as being similar to emeralds, so the name came from there. This name once again rose in popularity thanks to tourism, and I actually know who coined it. That honour goes to a guy named Andrew Dyer. He wasn't some local government worker or an advertising guru, but a high school kid who won a competition to coin a new name for the area in 1983. For this name, he won $50, which in today's money is apparently around $160, so fair play to him, I guess. I don't know. Andrew, if you're watching this video, let me know about your coining of the name. We can come on and have an interview or something, that'd be great. Probably still alive, high school student in 1983. Yeah, that's like Stranger Things age. I imagine the Stranger Things kid would still be alive, like 50 or something. I don't know. If you went to high school in 1983, let me know how old you are down below. But anyway, prior to having this name, the area went by some other names, including the Miracle Strip, due to the hotels and night spots in the area. And it was even known as the Redneck Riviera, due to its deep ties with the southern USA. Because I guess the Panhandle is more in the southern USA. It's near places like Louisiana and Alabama, while opposed to the rest of Florida is kind of just its own thing. Finally, it would be really bad if I forgot to mention the Forgotten Coast. This one lies just to the east of the Emerald Coast. It has this name simply because many have deemed it forgotten. Sometimes this is metaphorically forgotten, as other parts of the state get way more attention, and sometimes it gets literally forgotten, as one time was left off a map of Florida entirely. It might seem sad that this coast has been forgotten, but many seemingly see it as a good thing. While every other part of Florida is vying for the attention of holidaymakers, the Forgotten Coast seems to delight in the idea that it flies under the radar. In fact, the whole concept of it being forgotten and left behind is kind of its draw to tourists. It likes to advertise itself as being off the beaten track and far removed from the craziness of the theme parks, rocket ships, gators, and crowded beaches. And that is just a handful of the coasts that Florida has. Let me know about any of the other coasts I might have missed out on. Also, please suggest a topic down below which we could cover in next Monday's Name Explain video. It could be about literally anything, and the topic can be as niche or broad as you like. I will then choose 3 of those topics and place them in a poll for my patrons to vote on. Then the winner from that poll will be the topic of the next Monday's Name Explain video. But I didn't actually do that this week because I just wanted to talk about Florida because I went there for tax reasons, so I can cast my holidays as a business expense. Booyah! Anyway, you could vote in that poll as well as enjoy many other great benefits by visiting patreon.com/nameexplained, which will be linked down below, and by donating just $1 a month. Thank you. Anyway, that's more than enough for myself, but don't forget to go follow on Instagram on NameExplainYT, and don't forget to join the Facebook page Friends of Name Explain, where you can chat with myself and many other name nerds. Okay all, take care. I'm back, here in my office. Definitely isn't Florida, definitely doesn't feel like Florida here, but should we begin? Still going to talk about Florida to try and relive those memories, but yeah, let's begin, shall we? Can I remember how to do this? Not only my wonky, it has the code 321, as in 3, 2, that wrong, as in 3, 2, 1, lift off. I have my thumb up. Why can't I count to 3? Love 3. This is awful. Am I going to do that again? On the opposite of... Before we continue, I want to say a huge thanks to my got an itchy eye and I'm speaking too quickly. That honour goes to a guy named Andrew Dyer. Dyer? As other parts of the escape. I'm going to start again. Also, I'm saying east. Despite the fact that it says west, I'm saying east because it actually is east. The script is wrong. My mouth is right for once. Let's say again. While every other part of Florida is vying Man, I can't believe I forgot to make a Sonic reference or something like the Emerald Coast. Isn't there like a place in Sonic 2 called Emerald Coast? That's bad Sonic fandom on me. I'm sorry, Sonic fans, if you're watching this.